How you doing? Joe Stunner Boxing back again. Nice to have you here. Thank you for joining me. I had a bit of a lay-in, bank holiday today, so I just chilled out, dragged myself out of my pit, made a mug of tea, and I thought I'd do a quick video. And how could I not do a quick video with this great fight we got coming up? Because you may have forgotten, or you may not even have been aware in the first place, that we have boxing on New Year's Day coming up. And headlining this PBC card, so you know it must be good, is the heavyweight contest between Charles Martin and Luis Ortiz, which is on pay-per-view. Yes, it is. Now, let me think. I'm a boxing fan, and I could be wrong. Maybe this will be a great fight. Shall I stream it, or shall I pay some money towards those nice promoter types? You know, those guys, the guys with all the, legal eagles that can help them avoid tax and stuff like that. Shall I pay for this, or shall I stream it? I think I'll stream it. I will. Pay-per-view. Do me a favour. I mean, if you pay for this, Jesus Christ, I mean, you want your head read. But anyway, each to his own. It's your money. But as is often the case, the fights that you don't expect to be good could turn out to be good. So I won't be too cynical. I'm very, very sceptical, but I'm not cynical. So let's go through this then. Charles Martin against Luis Ortiz. Well, Charles Martin... Well, actually, we'll start with Luis Ortiz because we know all about him. He's 87 years of age. His last fight was against Alexander Flores, 1-round knockout inside a minute. That was about a year ago, I think. And then if you go back 2 years to his previous fight, Deontay Wilder knocked him out in 7. That was a rematch no one had called for. I think that was on pay-per-view as well, wasn't it? God, you poor Americans having to put up with this crap. Yeah, so that's enough. That's Luis Ortiz. We know about Luis Ortiz, Cuban fighter, Cuban trained, good boxing skills. Didn't tear up any trees as an amateur, not really. But has some skills, and for what it's worth, he was the best victim on Deontay Wilder's resume. So that's Luis Ortiz. Charles Martin, as we know, back in 2016, lost to Anthony Joshua. He lost his IBF heavyweight title April 2014. Has had 6 fights since then. 5 of them have been wins. The one loss was to Adam Kalnacki. That was back in 2018. I suppose that, bearing in mind Kalnacki's back-to-back defeats by Hellenius, I suppose that doesn't look too great on Martin's record. But if you go back to 2020, February 2020, which was his last fight, this shows you how rarely PBC heavyweights fight, Ortiz and Martin. So we're going back 22 months. Gerard Washington was knocked out in 6 by Martin. That was kind of a crossroads fight, I suppose, for both fighters. And prior to that, if you look at his record, I think he beat Jeremy Corbyn. Gregory Corbyn. Yeah. Unfortunately, it wasn't Piers Corbyn. I'd pay to watch that cunt knocked out. But yeah, so he beat Gregory Corbyn, who at the time was 15-0, undefeated. But Corbyn has since lost three fights after being knocked out by... no, he wasn't knocked out. It was a disqualification. Martin beat him on disqualification. Since then, Corbyn has lost three fights, including a 1-round blowout to Hrgovic. So those are the records, really. Now, the fight itself, this is a very difficult one to predict because, especially when fighters of an advanced age, in the case of Ortiz, don't fight that often, you wonder, have they got anything left? Sometimes those big gaps in activity for older fighters can be very beneficial because your body can repair itself and recover, and it's possible Ortiz could give Martin a boxing lesson. But I do think Martin, in fairness, has improved since the Joshua blowout. And it wouldn't surprise me if he knocked out Ortiz. I've got to be honest. So I'm seeing a sort of points for Ortiz win. Is it a 10 round? It's a 12 round, isn't it? Probably one of those alphabet trinkets are on the line, but over 12 rounds, I think the two most likely results will be Ortiz on points, 116, 112 roughly, or Martin knocking out Ortiz between the 8th and the 10th. Ortiz is clearly the superior boxer. Martin is more of a boxer puncher. Early on in his career, I was quite impressed with Martin. I thought he had some decent potential, but he just hasn't fought enough. If I had to go for a prediction, I would go with Martin to stop Ortiz. Like I say, about 10 rounds, 8, 9, 10. That sort of part of the fight. On what do I base that? They don't fight enough for me to make any sort of judgments regarding current form or where they're at the moment. But the inactivity for Martin is shocking. I mean, to be a world-rated heavyweight and to not fight for 22 months is absolutely awful. And it says a lot about PBC and how they bring on their fighters. You know, it's like, you know, in the smaller weights, Gary Russell Jr. is the obvious example. Someone said to me, is he still fighting? Is he dead? You know, you just don't know. These guys never fight. But anyway, I'm hoping for a good fight. I'm hoping to be proven wrong and that this will be a good fight. And you never know, it might be. It might be. So I'm going for Martin to stop Ortiz late. I don't say that with any great confidence. I think he'll put pressure on Ortiz. I think Ortiz's punch resistance may have diminished somewhat. Ortiz, I think, will outbox him for the first 4, 5, maybe 6 rounds, and then Martin will come on, start landing the hurtful punches, and probably stop Ortiz on his feet. He'd probably knock him down, and then he'll get up, and the ref will stop it. So that is my tentative pick. What do you think? I think it's just nice to have some boxing on New Year's Day. I think that's a nice little gig. So, yeah, credit where it's due. Fair play to PBC for doing that. And, you know, the undercard don't look too bad. So, well, I say it don't look too bad. It looks all right, I suppose. But, yeah, give me your thoughts below. Leave them in the comments. Let's see what we think. And thanks for listening, as always. If you're new to the channel and you could subscribe, I'd really appreciate that. What do you think about this fight? What do you think about it being on pay-per-view? And what do you think about PBC fighters and the long periods of inactivity so many of them have? It's a shame because they've got a lot of good fighters in that stable, but they need to fight more often. So what do you think? Leave your comments below. Thanks for checking in. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video if you would. I'd appreciate it. And I'll speak to you again sometime. Thanks a lot.